I give 170% in everything I'm doing. No but there. I'm giving it my all. My dad, I think he very correctly, rightfully was wary growing up. It's no place for a child. It really isn't. You know, the cameras, people going, hey, do the thing where we recognize you as cute.
Timothée Chalamet. Just saying the name evokes images of delicate yet magnetic performances, a presence that feels both ethereal and intensely grounded. But how did this young actor, barely in his mid-20s, come to redefine what it means to be a Hollywood leading man? In a world that has long celebrated muscle-bound action heroes, chiseled jaws, and imposing silhouettes, Chalamet has challenged conventions, not through sheer bravado, but through vulnerability, nuance, and a captivating authenticity that feels almost dangerous in its sincerity. Hollywood is no stranger to transformation. The industry has cycled through archetypes of leading men: the brooding rebel, the charming rogue, the action star, and the romantic ideal. Yet, in recent years, a shift has been occurring, one that embraces complexity over physical perfection, emotional honesty over rigid masculinity.
Their addiction is the biggest killer in the United States right now. It's over 50,000 people a year die from this. That's more than automobile crashes, that's more than gun violence, that's more than both of those combined.
Timothée Chalamet sits squarely at the heart of this shift. His appeal is not derived from traditional Hollywood bravado, but from his ability to inhabit characters who are as flawed, tender, and introspective as the audience watching them. Consider his breakout role in Call Me by Your Name. Chalamet was just 21 when he portrayed Elio Perlman, a young man navigating first love, longing and self-discovery in the sun-soaked hills of northern Italy. The performance was electric, intimate, and heartbreaking. Audiences were captivated not by a display of machismo, but by the raw emotional intelligence he brought to the role. He made desire palpable without resorting to exaggeration. He made heartbreak tangible without melodrama. And in doing so, he became the standard bearer for a new type of Hollywood leading man, one unafraid to be tender, sensitive, and human. But Chalamet is more than the sum of his breakout performances. What sets him apart is his fearlessness in choosing roles that challenge both him and the audience. He refuses to be boxed into a single archetype. From the introspective poet in Beautiful Boy to the revolutionary prince in Dune, he navigates a spectrum of characters with a precision that is rare even among seasoned actors. He blends intellect, physicality, and an uncanny ability to convey the unspoken, making each role feel meticulously lived in rather than performed. And it's not just his acting that has redefined Hollywood norms. Chalamet has also emerged as a fashion icon, an ambassador of personal style in an industry that often reduces male actors to generic suits and polished haircuts. On red carpets, he experiments with silhouettes, colors, and fabrics in ways that are playful, daring, and unforgettable. Velvet jackets, billowing coats, bold prints. Chalamet's choices communicate that masculinity can be expressive, artistic, and fluid. He refuses to be confined by traditional expectations, and in doing so, he is inspiring a generation of young men to reconsider what it means to be confident, elegant, and self-aware. But the allure of Chalamet is not just superficial. It's a combination of charisma, intelligence, and authenticity that makes him magnetic. Interviews with the actor reveal a young man who is thoughtful, self-reflective, and deeply curious about the world. He reads voraciously, discusses literature, art, and philosophy with ease, and approaches his craft with the seriousness of someone who understands the weight of storytelling. This depth is visible on screen. It's why audiences are drawn to him, not just for the character he plays, but for the sense that the character is inseparable from the actor's own nuanced understanding of life. Interestingly, Chalamet's rise coincides with a broader transformation in Hollywood, one that is redefining how leading men are perceived. The industry is slowly moving away from glorifying perfection and toward embracing authenticity. No longer is the hero simply the one who triumphs through physical dominance or arrogance. Today, the hero can be introspective, vulnerable, and emotionally intelligent. Timothée embodies this shift, capturing the zeitgeist of a generation that values connection, empathy, and self-expression over traditional notions of power and control. But let's pause for a moment and ask a question: why does this matter so much? Why is the emergence of a new type of leading man such a compelling story in a culture obsessed with celebrity and image? The answer lies in relatability. For decades, male leads have been aspirational yet distant, often more like untouchable icons than people audiences could truly understand. Chalamet changes that equation. He invites viewers into the interiority of his characters, offering a mirror to our own vulnerabilities, anxieties, and desires. When he performs, he makes audiences feel seen, not just entertained. And it's not just about relatability, it's about aspiration too. Chalamet demonstrates that vulnerability is not weakness, that introspection is not a flaw, and that emotional intelligence can be powerful. In an era where the definition of masculinity is being actively questioned and redefined, he embodies a model of male identity that is thoughtful, empathetic, and multidimensional. He's proof that one can be both admired and approachable, talented and humble, daring and sensitive. For many young men watching, this is revolutionary. Of course, Chalamet is not without his challenges. The Hollywood machine can be unforgiving, particularly for young men whose public personas blur with their personal identities. Fame brings scrutiny, and in an industry that still fetishizes youth and appearance, he must navigate expectations carefully. But what is remarkable is that he seems acutely aware of this pressure and yet refuses to let it define him. He chooses projects that challenge him, collaborates with visionary directors, and cultivates a public image that is authentic rather than manufactured. And let's not forget his work in Beautiful Boy. Here, Chalamet confronts addiction, family strain, and the painful reality of mental health struggles. The role is gut-wrenching, demanding a level of emotional accessibility few actors achieve with such finesse. He refuses to shy away from discomfort, diving headfirst into the complexities of pain, regret, and resilience. Audiences are moved not because they are shown a melodramatic performance, but because they are offered a glimpse of unfiltered humanity. But let's dive into something that often goes unnoticed. Chalamet's talent is not just about aesthetic appeal or cultural resonance, it's about craft. Every role he takes on is a study in preparation, detail, and immersion. He doesn't simply memorize lines, he inhabits environments, learns mannerisms, and internalizes psychological landscapes. This dedication is reminiscent of Hollywood legends, yet Chalamet blends it with a contemporary sensitivity that makes his performances feel fresh and vital. He demonstrates that modern leading men can be both meticulous and magnetic, cerebral and compelling. And here's a fun point to ponder. What if Hollywood had been ready for a star like Timothée a decade earlier? Would audiences have embraced a leading man whose power is quiet, emotional, and intelligent? Perhaps, but his emergence feels perfectly timed. The world is craving narratives that reflect inner complexity, societal nuance, and emotional truth. In this sense, Chalamet is not just an actor, he's a cultural indicator, signaling a shift in taste, expectation, and imagination. By now, you might be wondering, where does this trajectory take him next? Chalamet is still young, and his career is just beginning. If trends continue, he will likely push boundaries in ways we can't yet imagine. He may tackle roles that challenge gender norms, experiment with independent cinema, or collaborate with visionary filmmakers on projects that redefine genre. Whatever the future holds, one certainty remains: he will do so with the same commitment to authenticity, intelligence, and emotional clarity that has become his hallmark. And here's something that will catch your attention, something that makes Chalamet even more fascinating. His rise demonstrates that Hollywood audiences are evolving. They no longer demand the same old heroes, they crave figures who feel real, complex, and reflective of contemporary life. By meeting that demand, Chalamet is not just shaping his own career, he is shaping the very nature of storytelling, influencing directors, writers, and producers to craft characters that are multifaceted and deeply human. And this is why his story is so compelling. Timothée Chalamet is not merely a star, he is a harbinger of a new era. He shows that Hollywood leading men can be vulnerable yet commanding, introspective yet magnetic, artistic yet universally appealing. He proves that talent, intelligence, and authenticity can redefine stardom, offering a template for the next generation of actors who will follow in his footsteps. So, the next time you see Timothée Chalamet on screen, take a moment to observe not just the story he's telling, but the broader shift he represents. In a Hollywood obsessed with appearance and archetype, he is a reminder that the most compelling heroes are those who dare to feel, think, and exist fully. And that is the legacy he is already building, one unforgettable performance at a time. And here's a question for you, viewers. If Timothée Chalamet represents the future of Hollywood leading men, what does that say about the stories we want to see? Are we ready for more heroes who challenge us emotionally rather than just awe us visually? Think about that next time a new movie hits the screens, and maybe you'll start seeing the subtle revolution unfolding right in front of you.